Well, the next session was something that's been requested a lot through the design process over the past 18 months. We want to help you all get into the right headspace to make the most of the next 2 days and connect with the people that you most need to connect with. The next session is designed to help each of us reflect on our own journeys and the journeys of the organisations that we work with. Well, David Savage is Senior Leadership and Collaboration Specialist based in the Wairarapa in New Zealand. He works with leaders at all levels and on major projects such as the $3.4 billion post-earthquake Stronger Christchurch infrastructure rebuild team. Previously a photographer, many moons ago they say, he travelled with his camera and met people who live in much harsher realities than our own. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm Christchurch welcome to David Savage.
Kia ora, people of the world. Feels very good to say that. Thank you very much for that warm welcome. It's great to be in Christchurch and great to connect with so many change makers in one place. Now, I hope you enjoyed your lunch. Now, a few years ago, I heard there was a golden rule about coming on stage after lunch and speaking, and that was to never actually have lunch before you speak. And that's with the goal of keeping one's digestive system to themselves. Worst scenario is belching, so none of that I haven't eaten yet, but I will eat after this. Now, my kids have this thing at the moment where if they enjoy something, they respond to it in such a way like they'll say, I didn't really like that. I loved it! And that happens a lot throughout my household at the moment. And that's kind of how I feel right now, based on listening to the various speakers this morning. And we've covered so many bases already. We've heard about the urgency for change. We've heard about community-based enterprise. We've even had poetry. And thank you to Peter Holbrook, who even covered off the fact that people are having a lot of sex, causing a population rise. Now, I was just curious about that. Just put the hand up if that is true for you. Yeah, a few hands up, but look, I'm keeping my hand down as well, unfortunately. Now, I just want to kind of curate, this session's all about outcomes, and I think this has been billed as a fun session. This isn't the fun part, okay, but I will move through it quite quickly. I just want to create a personal connection to outcomes. And my daughter told me before I came here today to speak from the heart, so that's what I'm going to do. And so, short story. 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with ALS, which is a motor neuron disease, which is a terminal illness. And at that time, my wife was 4 months pregnant with our third child. And I was told I'd be in a wheelchair within 6 months, and I'd probably be dead within 18 months to 3 years. So again, this isn't the fun part. Now, just to create some quick relief, 3 months later I saw a second neurologist who ran some tests, and he was under the impression he was going to give me a more accurate prognosis for the ALS. However, he ran some more tests and he realized that the diagnosis was wrong. Huge relief. So if you need to breathe now, breathe now. So what I do have is an autoimmune disease, and the good news is it's not going to kill me. In fact, it won't impact my life at all as long as I don't let it. But there was that 3-month period of living with that ALS misdiagnosis. And it's very hard to explain, but it was 3 months where I felt the strongest internal state I've ever experienced in my whole life. And the strongest internal mind as well. And through that 3 months, it was devastating, but I had this real clarity as well. And I had these 3 insights that were just constantly there. And one insight is I had absolute confidence in my kids and my wife that they would live a good life and they would do good things. And the second insight I had is I had absolute confidence in the community around them to love them and embrace them and help them through. And that's something I was overwhelmed by when I got the misdiagnosis, is the amount of love that's out there. It's a huge driver, and it's something that I hope we're all privileged to connect into. But then I had my third insight through these kind of dark times, and it was a realization that I hadn't done enough for my kids. I was facing the prospect, as I was told, that I would be dead within 18 months to 3 years, and I realized I hadn't done enough for my kids in terms of bigger solutions in this world that the world needs. And I was being told I didn't have much time to go. And that was a hard thing to face. I could say I've done X, Y, Z, I've done this and that, but I knew I hadn't done enough. And so when I got re-diagnosed, I had a new goal all of a sudden. And my goal is, obviously I'm going to live a very long life now, which is great. But my goal is when I do get to that kind of final point, I'm thinking maybe 60, 70 years' time. When I do get to that final point, I want absolute certainty that I've played a role in some of the bigger solutions that this world needs. Because time is precious and we have a window, and let's make the most of it. And so it's great to be here alive, and it's also great to be here to be running this session and hopefully share some of my knowledge, utilize some of my skills for your benefit. And as we've heard, this session is all about making the most of the forum. Now I'm a coach. And I help people achieve their goals. So in this session, we're going to look at outcomes in two parts. The first part, we're going to look at our collective outcomes, and then we're going to kind of make that really individual. We're going to look at what are the specific outcomes that you want from this forum, and how can you go about getting what you need. Now, just in terms of coaching, since 2003, I've coached over 300 people to achieve their goals. And now coaching, it never starts with the question, what are you going to do? Coaching always starts with the question, what is it you want? What's your goal? What's your outcomes? Outcomes are really important. But the interesting thing about that question is that for some people, they are able to answer that question so easily. They know what their goal is, and they put down their plan and off they go, and it's awesome. But some people don't know how to answer that question. Some people don't know what their goal is. Some people don't know what the solution is that they want to be part of. And that's okay, because what starts from that point is a process of discovery where they think, well, who am I? What's important to me? And what are my skills, and how am I best able to apply that? Now, the parallel I want to draw here is that we've got 1,500 people at this forum, and chances are we're all at different stages in terms of our journey around social enterprise and making a difference. Now, some of you in this room will know exactly what solutions you want to be part of, and you might have your plan and you might have your outcomes, and you're there and you are beginning to achieve, or you are well underway, and that's awesome. And if that's you, I really want to acknowledge you for being here for this 3 days and making this 3 days the next part of your journey. However, there may be other people in this room who don't know what solution they want to be part of, and are not sure what role they could play or how to apply their skills. And I want to say to you people, that's okay as well. And I want to acknowledge you for choosing to be at this forum, because I'm so confident that the people you're going to meet and the speakers you're going to hear and the workshop leaders you're going to work with can help you formulate some ideas. And that process of discovery, figuring out what your role is in social enterprise, can start here right now. Now, regardless of what stage you're at in terms of social enterprise, regardless of what stage, one thing is absolutely true. For this next 3 days, we are part of each other's story. And if we connect and we share and we learn from each other and we create with each other, then we can get the most that we possibly can out of this 3 days. And that's what this session is absolutely all about. So let's start with this lead question here. So what outcomes do we want from this forum? Now, the first thing we're going to do is look at collective outcomes, and then we're going to look at individual outcomes. Now, the challenge with this in terms of, what are our collective outcomes is that there's so many people here, can't quite facilitate that on the spot right now. So what we did, a few weeks ago, we sent out a survey And there was a list of 12 likely outcomes that you might want from this 3 days. And so we sent out the survey, lots of people responded, and we got clear on what some of these collective outcomes are. So I'm going to kind of take you through this. Point that way, I'm told. Okay, it does work, yeah. Okay, so the first one that came back was hear and get inspired by the stories of social entrepreneurs from all over the world. And the second one came back, I'm going to speak to both of these in one go. And the second one that came back was be exposed to international good practice and case studies. Now, in terms of these two outcomes, they're great because we're totally confident we can deliver on that. So, for example, we've got over 30 countries represented in this forum. So we're going to hear a lot about models and approaches from very different places around the world. And we've also got over 80 speakers over this 3 days. Workshop leaders, speakers. Some of these people are practitioners. Some of these people are policymakers. Some are community leaders. And some are corporate supporters. So a whole range of people here. So in terms of nailing these two outcomes, we're absolutely confident we can do that over the next 3 days. Here's the next one that came back as a popular outcome for the forum. Connect and network with social enterprise practitioners. Now this is cool. I like this one because this is a collaboration between us all. It's not about just connecting with the people on the stage. Let's connect with each other as well. And so I'm going to run an exercise on that in a few minutes. Now this next outcome is understand better the role I can take in supporting and growing social enterprise. And that's where it becomes really personal. And that's really important. And so what are your individual outcomes from this 3 days? What are the things you want to get answered off? What do you want to learn? What do you want to be able to do differently and take back with you? So again, I've got a very specific exercise that I'm going to run in a few minutes around that as well. And here's the last of the big five that came back from the survey describing what our collective outcomes are. Understand better the opportunities social enterprise represents to create a better tomorrow. Now this is a real interesting one, and this is my comment on this outcome. I'm going to read it once more. So understand better the opportunities social enterprise represents to create a better tomorrow. Now the part which says understand better the opportunities. Now I would say those opportunities are only limited by our imagination. And some of those opportunities may arise out of how do we work within the current paradigm, the current business as usual environment. But equally, some of those opportunities might arise out of, well, this is what we could do with social enterprise, but the environment doesn't allow us to do it. So how do we change the business environment so that we can do these bigger things? Both are equally valuable. But it requires our creativity, our vision, and our imagination to be able to do this. So this kind of gives us the collective view of our outcomes. And what I want to do now is float into what your individual outcomes are. And I want to present 3 strategies to get us thinking about our collective, to make the most of the forum, to get our outcomes from this 3 days. Here's the first strategy I'm going to suggest, and that is connecting with each other to generate a creative spike. So I'm going to give you a bit of historical information around this and an exercise in a moment. The second strategy I'm going to suggest is that during and after this forum we launch into action, and I'm going to give you some thoughts and tips around that as well. And then the third strategy I'm going to suggest is that we amplify the value you gain by setting powerful intention. And I'm going to give you a template for doing that in this session that's based on good sound psychology research. So let's get going. Here's the first one we want to look at. Now these are exercise based. Let me give you the background and the science first. So the strategy is connecting with each other to generate a creative spike. Now, a bit of history. There's a historical correlation between people connecting and innovation, spikes in innovation and creativity. What that means is, when the motor car came along, all of a sudden, people could travel further and connect with more people. Now, as they did that, ideas spread further. And with the advent of that technology, we also saw a spike in creativity and innovation. The same with the radio. When the radio started to appear in people's living rooms, all this new information was coming in, or that people weren't previously readily exposed to. And as information comes in, ideas exchange, and we saw another historical spike in creativity and innovation. The same with the phone, and especially the same with the smartphone. So here's the rule. The more we connect, the more we exchange ideas, the more creative we become, and we see a spike in innovation. And innovation is so important to social enterprise. So here's our first exercise, and we've done it a couple of times already today, but we're going to do it again. We're going to make this 3 days an opportunity to really connect. So I've got here 1,300 registrations. I got updated on that this morning. It is over 1,500. So chances are people in this forum can really help you on your journey. And the more we connect, the more we create. So let's start that. Now, in a moment, I'm going to get you to connect with people around you. And chances are you're sitting somewhere slightly different. Hopefully, there's a different mix of people around you. And this is really to encourage you to connect with people you don't already know. Yeah? So it's an exercise in connection. And in a minute, when you do that, and I'll give you some ideas around how we can self-organize, you're going to introduce yourself and who you are and where you're from. You're going to describe what solution you want to be part of if you know. And if you don't, talk about your internal drivers to be here today. And really importantly, I'm going to ask you to exchange contact details, whether that's your Twitter address or Instagram or an email address, whatever it might be. And the reason is because post-conference, I'm going to suggest you connect with these same people again, share your experience. Because we can all network, but what actually we really want is an active network. So exchanging contact details is really important. So what I'm going to suggest, I'm going to give you kind of 5 or 6 minutes for this. Every couple of people on a row, stand up, turn around, and see if you can face people who are sitting down who you haven't yet connected with. We're going to go for about 5 or 6 minutes, and what I want you to do, so you're kind of hopefully going to be in a group of 4, and at least 2 people you don't know, maybe. Introduce yourself. Where are you from? What solution do you want to be part of, or describe whilst you're here, and exchange some details. Croaky voice. But seriously croaky voice. Yeah, I had a real sore throat yesterday. But it's better now, but I've got the legacy of it. Yeah. I won't have one now. I might choke on it. just looking at the timing, this session will kind of finish a little bit early. Yeah. But I'm told you can just jump up and fill some time and get some questions answered from the app. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Jason said that's all kind of ready to go if you need to. So, yeah. It might be kind of 10 to 15 minutes spare. Yeah. 10 to 15 minutes. Just this, yeah. Yeah. Maybe, yeah. So I could stick around for that, I guess, yeah. Yeah. Okay. That sounds good. Right. Yeah, we're going to have some floating mics going at the end to talk specifically about outcomes. Yeah. Yeah, some floating mics. Yeah. Yeah. But good, we'll use the app as well. Yeah. Super, thanks. Okay. All right. Wonderful. It might take a few minutes for you to come back, and that's fine. Oh gosh, you're really getting deep in these conversations. I can hear the volume. Okay, let's bring the focus back this way. Well done. I can feel that creative spike emerging already. I know there's an off switch around here somewhere. Has anyone seen it? Apparently I need to sing like Susie. Susie, I can't sing like you, especially with this sore throat. Do you want to just come and do some singing? Will that work? Well, I could sing Frank Sinatra, but no, I'm not brave enough for that. Okay. Maybe I should threaten to sing? That might work, yeah, okay. Okay, thank you very much. All right, so hopefully you went through that process and you start to build an active network with others in this room. So what you've just done, keep doing it. Connect with people and create that innovative spike throughout the whole 3 days. People in this room have solutions that you need right now and into the future. And so a network is one thing, but what we really want is an active network. And of course, we've got the forum and we've got the app as well. And so now we're kind of moving through that exercise. Let's talk about the second strategy. And the second strategy is during and after this forum, launching into action. Now, I'll give you a bit of science behind taking action first. Taking action is time critical. Now, what I mean by that, it's been well measured that when someone has an insight or they go to an event or they set a goal, if they take their first action within 24 hours of that insight, that setting of that goal or something along those lines, if they take their first action within 24 hours, they're more likely to keep taking action. And so it's like, yeah, I'm in this space, I'm at this forum, I'm meeting these people, I heard this speaker or I met this person and I heard what they had to say and it gave me an insight, gave me an idea. So first of all, write that action down. And if you can, take that action within 24 hours because we absolutely know that the quicker you get into action, the more likely you are to keep taking action and the more actions spring from that. So it's like its own ecology, it has its own life. And the other thing around actions is that take small actions frequently. And we know if we look and examine kind of high performers in sport or in the corporate world or in any kind of field, they're really good at taking continuous action on a frequent basis. And very importantly, celebrate the whole journey. It's not about celebrating just when you get to your outcome, your goal. It's actually feel good about taking every single step you take. Feel good that you got out of bed and you did something, you took action. So celebrate your small wins as you go, because taking action obviously is what it's actually all about. So during the forum, and I've got a few tips for you around this. These are coaching tips that I know work for clients. So here they are. First of all, connect, share insights, share ideas, exchange contact details. So you've just done that. And so that's something you can do throughout the whole forum. The second one is pre-session, design 1 to 3 questions that you want to go in with. So for example, if you think about, okay, I'm going to go to this workshop tomorrow, or I'm going to see this speaker tomorrow, don't just rock up. Rock up with 1, 2, or 3 questions that you want to get answered from that session. Yeah? Now what that does is you are setting powerful intention. I'm going to this session, I'm not just going to listen, but these are my questions about it. And so you're listening very specifically. Now the third thing you can do throughout the forum is also take notes, and most people do take notes. Here's a little tip for you. Create an action list for yourself as well. So these wonderful books we've got in our kind of goodie bags, find a blank page, and at the top of the blank page, write the heading, My Action List. Now what it means is that you take a bunch of notes throughout the workshop, but you also put down specific actions that you come up with. It's that next level. And of course, at the end of each day, review those actions and take the actions you can if you're able to kind of gain that momentum. So there are 3 things that you can do throughout the forum to make the most of this time. But after the forum as well, there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do there. Now, I've designed something called an Insight into Action review planner. And you'll be sent that by the organisers after the forum. Now that's just simply a question and answer coaching tool for you to take everything you learn from this 3 days and plow it into a series of actions and help you organise your thinking around that. So that's going to be sent to you post-forum, and so populate that and you can utilise that as a tool to transform your learnings into action. The next thing you can do after the forum is reconnect with the people you just met. So hopefully you did get their contact details, and if you didn't, find people to connect with and get contact details. Now, the reason I'm suggesting this is it's too easy to stay within our normal groups and exchange ideas. But actually, creativity and innovation needs us to go into other groups and connect with different people to exchange information. And that's where we get even more ideas. So post-forum, my suggestion is set up a way to talk to the people who you met over this 3 days and do a simple review. And your starting question may be something along the lines of, what's now possible because of the forum? Yep, have a conversation. How did the forum meet your outcomes? And keep that dialogue going. And then the third thing you can do in the forum. Now, if you are well underway in terms of your journey around social innovation, the question will be, what have you learned from this forum that now weaves into your strategies back in your social enterprise? Now, if you are not belonging to a social enterprise right now, you can still utilize these learnings that you get. So when you do start to approach people in social enterprise, or you do start to have those conversations, you can kind of approach them with all the learnings you've had from these 3 days. So it's really about getting real. This is what I learned. This is how I'm going to integrate it. So there are 3 things that you can do to kind of make the most of the forum post-forum. Let's go to our third strategy, and this is our biggest piece here. And so the strategy is to amplify the value you gain by setting powerful intention. Now, I'll give you a bit of the kind of the psychology research around this. And if you want to learn more about this, go to jamesclear.com. Great source of information. Now, if we took one group of people and they all wanted to create some kind of change in their lives, yeah? If we take that one group of people and we said those people would rely purely on their self-motivation to follow through, the measure of that is around about 38% will actually follow through. Yeah, so, it's a relatively low number in a way. This is what's interesting. If you then take another group of people and those people did something slightly different. So they had their self-motivation plus they applied something inside which is called implementation intention. That's what they call it in psychology. They applied that. But what that means is they are writing down what they're going to do and when they're going to do it by. And it's interesting. It needs to be the 3 things. So this is what I'm going to do, and this is when I'm going to do it, and write it down. Now, when people did that, the follow-through shot right through the roof. So something like 91% would follow through on that action and create the change they were looking for. So it's this curious relationship, not just being self-motivated, but actually day by day or week by week, this is what I'm going to do, this is when I'm going to do it, and actually writing it down. It kind of capitalizes on our motivation and our commitment. So what I've got here for you is a bit of a template that you can use. Now, if you've got your books with you, use your book and then populate the template. Or if you can do it on your smartphone, do it on your smartphone. If you want to share it via the app, share it via the app. Now, here's the template. Over the next 3 days, so that's a specific time frame, I will find out more about X, Y, Z. Yeah. I will learn how to X, Y, Z. And I will contribute by X, Y, Z. Yeah. Now, take a few moments. It's a bit of more of a silent exercise. Take a few moments and set your implementation intention. Yeah. That is totally relevant to what you want from this 3 days. Now, this is about getting very specific. Okay, so again, over the next 3 days at this forum, I will find out more about, I will learn how to, and I will contribute by. And we're getting very specific about what you want over this 3 days. So I'm going to give you another 4 minutes. So take your time, write it down. It's interesting, but the act of writing something down with a time frame makes a huge difference in terms of following through and exercising your learnings. So another 4 or 5 minutes, and I'll come back. I'll have a bit of water because my voice is starting to go for some reason. But I'll be back in about 4 or 5 minutes. So off you go, just create that template. Okay. Do you know, I much prefer it when it's noisy. Hey, look, thank you. And hopefully you kind of had a bit of space there to really connect with what you want from this 3 days and this template. It becomes very specific for you. Now, again, here's the exercise. Find those same people and share. This time be really specific. What are the specific things you're looking to find out? What do you want to learn and take away with you, and how are you going to contribute? So another question with those same people, lift the noise a little bit, and have a share, have a conversation. Another 5-6 minutes around that. Off you go.
Have you got your answers ready? Kind of. Yeah, common thoughts, all right?
Guys, if we can throw up the Slido questions, then we'll get anyone from
Yeah.
the piano. If you've got something to say, it'll pop up on
Fantastic.
the screen here.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do some floating mic stuff first, then we'll see how we go for time.
Yep, that's perfect.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just try and give a verbal heads up for the people running the slides.
Yeah.
You're going to throw to Q&A shortly, so people from the
Good stuff. Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Let's just bring the focus back this way. Okay, now you've had a bit of a chance to do a bit of sharing, and hopefully you've got a bit of an understanding of what others specifically want from this forum, and you've had a chance to share your own and maybe get a bit of feedback as well. Well done. I feel so bad about asking you to just break up this conversation. I know you could go for hours, but I've only got 20 minutes left. I don't need it all. But what I would really like to do now is to have a few people on each level share what some of their intentions are. And so what I understand is that we have a team of floating mics. Fantastic. So let's listen to what some people have got to say. So this is an opportunity for you to share the things that you want from this forum. So specifically what you want to find out more about, what you want to learn and take away with you, and what you're prepared to contribute in terms of the outcomes of this 3 days. So let's listen to what a few of you have got to say. So maybe we'll start with the third floor, the top floor, and just put your hand up if you would like to share what it is you'd like to get from this 3 days. What's your implementation intention? I actually can't see a thing. It's blinding lights up there. So there is someone, and over that side, here we go. So just read out the statement as you've got it, or just a part of it.
I'll just speak it from my heart.
Speaking with a real loud voice, yeah,
Okay.
great.
So I want to find out more about communities around sustainable fashion so that I can start a tribe of around that so that we can change the paradigm of irresponsible fashion. And I want to contribute by giving my knowledge of 35 years in the fashion industry and working in various countries where I see what's happening. So talking about the good side and the not so good side. So that's what I want to contribute, and to provide, a beautiful space for that to happen.
Fantastic, well done. And very specific as well. Give it a round of applause, yeah. So a couple of things there that strike me, and thank you for starting us off. You very clearly you want to connect and gain information first. And the other thing I liked about what you had to say there, my voice is really struggling now, but here we go. The other thing I heard what you had to say there is you want to figure out how you can share your knowledge. That's bringing your strengths and skills into it, which is absolutely wonderful. Thank you. Let's hear from someone else, perhaps on this second row. Who would like to share what their intention is over the next 3 days? We've got someone's hand up over there.
It's on. Is that working? No.
Go ahead, yeah.
I want to share about community wealth creation, which is interest-free financing through community groups. And I've actually set up a system. There are 1,000 people around New Zealand who are using that system, and I want to move it into land trusts and taking land out of the marketplace so that people can get their housing for half the price, or their farming for the price of the stock that they're farming.
Well done, great. Do you know, I think getting a house for half the price will be very attractive to a lot of people in this environment. Well done. Find that guy out if you need more information. Let's go for someone else. Someone else on that second row as well. Who's got their hand up? Yeah, go ahead. Oh, they've disappeared. Okay. And what about this bottom row? Who can put their hand up? Who wants to share what they've come up with? This gentleman over here, yeah.
Kia ora, my name's Panapa Eho from Hukurangi Enterprises. One of the things that we wanted to find out about is creating investment platforms for whānau, families and people to invest in social enterprises. So we're going through a process of that now. We want to learn how to really crank system change across communities rather than doing individual siloed activities. And contribution by sharing the story of some of the stuff that we're doing. I'd also like whoever that fellow that was talking about the housing stuff up in the second thing.
Yeah, that guy there.
If someone can give him the mic so that he can share his name and his and his organisation with everyone, please.
He's going to be a very popular guy with that kind of strategy, I can tell. Hey, look, thank you. And like the big thing I pick up there is, cranking this through the community. So if we can make it work at this level, how do we scale it up? And that's one of the things that one of the introductory speakers spoke about, is that there's so much going on around the world. And so we don't need to reinvent the wheel. As long as we're connecting and sharing, if it's working here, could it work over here as well? And so that's the thing I love about the social enterprise community. We've got platforms to share ideas, and so we can actually scale this stuff really quickly and spread it if it's working. Now, a gentleman over there, yeah.
Hi, I'm David Ralph from Outer Urban Projects in Melbourne, and my colleague and I are seeking to share our methodology and our frameworks of running our social enterprise, which is a performing arts-based social enterprise, and we want to learn from if there are any performing arts social enterprises in this room or in the piano room, if they want to meet with us and talk about how they, the challenges that they have with their organisations, and sharing those experiences together.
Fantastic. And so how will they connect with you? What's the best way for them to connect with you?
I think on the app, or they can shoot us an email.
And what was your name again?
David, and I'm at David at Outer Urban Projects, or we're on Twitter as well, which is at Outer Urban.
Fantastic. Great stuff. Thank you. Thank you. One more. Just this guy here. He's waving frantically. It better be good, mate. Yep. Come on.
With the microphone without. Hi, Ash from Good Company. We're a platform. We're a platform that connects companies to charities to volunteer, donate, fundraise, give back, and do good. And I am here with a very, I hope, powerful intention that I'd like to share, is that I need to find a country manager to run Good Company NZ to create a huge impact in the volunteering, skill volunteering, general volunteering, fundraising and donating workplace giving space. So if you're interested, I'd love to talk, meet with you. Thanks.
Fantastic. And again, how do people contact you? What's the best way?
How much they're getting paid? What do you ask?
Yep.
Sorry. What was the question?
All right. So if people want to get hold of you, how will they get hold of you?
Yeah. So Ash at goodcompany.org. And yes, I'll be around till Friday night.
All right. Great stuff.
Cool. Thanks.
Now, obviously the mics are floating around and we're hearing from people. A much better way to connect and share this rapidly will be through the app as well. So, be brave. Take your statement and put it into the app. Share it around and see what connections you can make and what traction you can get over this next 3 days. Now, I'm very aware that we've got a whole bunch of great people in the piano as well. And so I understand there's a way of connecting with them, and there might be some questions that are coming through that will magically appear on this screen. I'm getting instructions coming through. Tell the piano to go to the Q&A function and put your questions in there. And they'll come up here. Amazing. Just live link here. He's coaching me. Thank you. All right, so that might take a few minutes. Let's see if we've got one more time for someone to put their hand up and just share their intention. Oh, yeah, we've got some wavers over there. Fantastic. Hello, what's your name and how can people contact you? Make sure you let us know that as well.
Okay, so I'm Maddie Venmore Kerr. I'm on the app and I'm on Twitter and pretty much every other social platform out there. Pretty much what I'm wanting to do is I'm wanting to find out about other mental health-based social enterprises. I have an idea for one, and I'm wanting to collaborate with people, so that's kind of what I'm wanting to learn how to do as well, is finding the motivation to keep mine going and collaborating knowledge with anyone else who has an interest in the same area. And I can contribute by talking to people because I do too much of that as it is. So yeah, hit me up on the app or on Twitter. I'm really keen to connect with you all.
Fantastic. So, if you got an interest in mental health, talk to that person there. What was your name again? Miri. Okay, round of applause for Miri. And for the guys over there as well. Yeah, okay. Okay, so I've got a question that's come up. Who was the woman who just spoke about sustainable fashion in the interactive session? I'd love to connect with her. Who was that woman? Where's that voice coming from? It's coming from that bright light over there.
It's coming from the top.
Are you an angel? All right, sorry. And just really, Angel, please speak up.
Okay, so my
Desperate.
name's Teresa Grantham. I have an organisation called Seed to Self. I'm going to be here for the whole of the conference. Shall I put out I don't know how to get in contact with you, so... But
we will find you.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
so
right.
it's Teresa, is that right?
My name's Teresa, and
Teresa.
the organisation is called Seed to Self.
Okay, I think I heard that. Cedar to Self. We'll clarify that and we'll put it up on here. Okay. Yeah, thank you. Hey, look, that's all we've got about time for. So from me, I really want to thank you for playing. Hopefully some of these strategies have worked. Hopefully we've begun this creative spike. Hopefully you're going to be launching into action after every single session, and hopefully these powerful intentions that you've begun to set now, you can spread out there via the app, and let's get some stuff moving. Thank you so much for having me, and I really wish you all the best for the next 3 days and for your long lives as well. Thank you.